Apparently, there is an ocarina in there. This one's Lunar Silver. Star Harmony. What a name. So, we're already going to start on a tangent. Seeing y'all in the chat. But first, y'all got to tell me, how's it going? How's the week? What you working on? What'd you do? What is today? Tuesday? I got it wrong earlier today and thought it was Wednesday. But I think it was last stream. I don't know if it was the Moss and Stone one or the last Hangout one. We got talking about RPGs a little bit. And I post-stream, I got to thinking about it. It's just like, man, I really miss those days. Those old JRPGs, I guess they're called now, like Final Fantasy 2 and 3 or 4 and 6, as you call them. And Secret of Mana. Golly. Getting lost in those. Lost in the sense of enjoying yourself. Though I did get lost in the game a couple times. Several times, really. But that was part of the joy, you know? Trying to find your way. But somebody mentioned, I think it was Wisp, Skies of Arcadia. Man, I had... Technically, that was a Dreamcast game, right? I had it on the GameCube. There's a couple Dreamcast games that made their way to the GameCube. Like Phantasy Star Online. Golly. Episodes 1 and 2, I loved that. And I think I've mentioned it before, like that had a huge, believe it or not, despite being some weird sci-fi thing, like had a huge influence slash inspiration slash motivation to do the writing that I'm doing now. Such a fun game. And it was not a lot to it, but something about it I thought was so cool. People trying to make you homeless again. What, is he kicking you out of your apartment? What's going on? Chrono Trigger. So I missed Chrono Trigger growing up, but I did play it like when ROMs became a thing you could go download fairly easily. I went and got it. Because we found, so there used to be this pawn shop. There was a couple of them actually, but there was one specifically that me and my brother would frequent once we got old enough to drive. And this is, I still like Steam and being able to buy your games online and keep them online. I very much enjoy that, but I do at the same time miss the days of going to the pawn shop and rooting around looking for games and never knowing what you might find. We found a copy of Chrono Trigger at that pawn shop, and my brother bought it, but we never played it because even way back then we knew how rare it was. So we just kind of bought it and held on to it. Do you love Skies of Arcadia? Yeah. Like I said, I got it on the GameCube, and it was super fun. I've never finished it, but I remember playing, and then all of a sudden getting in a ship battle, and it was just like, holy crap! And you're flying around. Yeah, no, it was super cool. Like I love those worlds and those games. Like I was saying, Final Fantasy, the various Final Fantasy, Skies of Arcadia, Secret of Mana, just those atmosphere. And I guess that's part of what we went off on a 2-hour tangent with the Pokemon thing. There's just something about them back then. And those worlds, if you think about them too much, they don't make a lot of sense, but they were so much fun to just dive into. Golden Sun. So my brother, he got that. That was Game Boy, right? A Game Boy Advance or something. I don't know if it was only Game Boy. Maybe it was something else, and that's when we got it, was on one of the Game Boys. But he got that, and I remember playing a little bit of it, and it was pretty fun. But I think by the time he got his hands on that, he went off to college, so it went with him. Final Fantasy 2, yeah. Assuming we mean 2/4. Still working on Dark Mecha with an interest in updating Dungeon, and I may be giving it Legendary until proven otherwise. Otherwise, whatever. You gonna give the Barbarians rest? Big sad. A Game Boy Advance simulator. Yeah, so is that all it was? Was that just like a Game Boy series? The Golden Sun? I feel like it was pretty popular. Made a big wave. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it, but today's music is 2 hours of JRPG music to fuel your next adventure. So, getting some nostalgia over here looking at the artwork. It's good stuff. Good times. Good times. Also, we're going to be in PowerPoint today instead of Excalidraw, because my Excalidraw boards just get too bloated, too big a file size. Plus, I think we're going to be digging into some other PowerPoint things I was working on. Like, we might take a stab at that word pyramid thing I was working on. I don't know what else to do with it, but we might bring it back up. JRPG is usually good at immersion. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. Like, when I was little, it was just RPGs. You know, there was no J. Pick up Immortal again with inspiration. Well, if you wait around for inspiration, it's never gonna happen. You just gotta get up and do it, man. Get up and do it. Get me a little drink here. All right. Can't wait on inspiration. You gotta make your own inspiration. Speaking of making things, I have made a mess on my desk. There's papers and sticky notes everywhere. All right. Got to find inspiration. Wild Arms 2. This nerd again. Yeah, man. It's me. I actually referenced your game today, Crabsoft. I was talking to Jorben about 7 Deadly Sins, about his armor system, and I was like, you know, there was this really shitty game I played one time, but it had a cool armor system. I didn't tell him that, but I did say there was a game that, because yours, when your armor breaks, it absorbs 100% of the damage, right? Even if that normally would have been too much for your armor, but because the armor shattered, it absorbs the rest of the hit, which I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, that might be something you want to try. You're excited for the next video? No reason, of course. Yeah, man. I liked it. So that video, it was nice to be able to make it at my own pace and just, you know, kind of do it as I needed, and I could go back and change a couple things without having to worry about a deadline. But there's a lot to unpack in that video. It's 30 minutes, and you could just cruise through it, listen to it, like, yep, that's good. But if you like go back and listen to each individual person's advice, like, there's a lot there. Sebastian from Dawnfist Games dropped a really good one, and I think it was the "What do you wish you had known?" Yeah, what do you wish you had known? Because he had gone off on the wrong track. Basically, he learned design intent, and we've talked about that, knowing what your design is supposed to be. So, matter of fact, that's what I poked Jordan a little bit about this morning. I was like, what do you want your armor to do? How do you want it to feel? No overflow, ensure no one shots. Yeah, yep. My thing with Jordan's game was like, it felt, the armor was neat, but it felt like it was an extra step for nothing. And when he said he got it, basically pulled it from Daggerheart, I was like, oh, that's why. You know, because from what I've seen from Daggerheart, I've just skimmed through it. It seems like everything is like, oh, this is just like this other rule from this other game, but with an extra step. So. JRPGs embrace the limitations of the medium of vidges that made. Yeah. Well, that was like a lot of games back in the day. Twice Dead. Just those limitations really bred creativity. They had to do some really gnarly things to get around console limitations, and then when we kind of knocked out limitations, everything just got kind of dull and samey. Not everything, but it definitely lost its edge. There's a really good speed run of Blast Core, if you remember that, for Nintendo 64, and it's at like Summer Games Done Quick or something, I think was the event, and the guy's sitting there doing a speed run live, and one of the developers is there on the couch with him watching, and he's talking about a lot of the tricks they had to do to squeeze that onto that cartridge. It is just insane what they had to do. Like, Donkey Kong 64 had some weird ones. Add detail where you want to stretch time and draw attention. Simplify what's not the point. Yep. Focus on the wounds. Everything else is just there. I don't know. It's a fun video. Like, you could expand on a lot of the points that were made, and they could probably all have their own videos, but I think it's good stuff, something to just kind of watch, think about, dwell on, and then watch it again if you need to. He said the word. Well, that's what reminded us. I don't know if Jordan told you, when he sent you the invite last night mid-game, somebody got wounded, and everybody's like, wounds, where's Peter? And then Jordan was like, oh wait, he's supposed to be here, I forgot. So the wounds summoned him. I feel overwhelmed but not nervous. What weird ass sensation. Ah! Why are you overwhelmed but not nervous? Speaking of, let's see. I'm getting a little nervous about your book, Twice Dead, because I checked the tracking this morning, and USPS is still like, we're waiting, and I'm like, I dropped it in the box Saturday. Like, you should have it. So maybe it's in my mailbox waiting for me. We're gonna have to go find out what's going on. What's up, Chase? You're gonna have to try and recruit a weekly group again. Uh-oh. Really hate networking online. Yep, it's the worst. But best of luck to you. Ooh, you avoided one and called them stages. What are we working on? So I think we were going down the rabbit hole / tangent of classic JRPGs as they are now called. But I think I would like to poke... not that. Let's see. I gotta find it. Boom, 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 boom. That word pyramid we talked about for using for just generic monsters and handouts and stuff. Let's see. Where did I put that? I know where I put it. Not there though. How about this folder? Here we go. So let me grab... If I do this... Hey! So we can put that there. I got more. Yeah, I was just piddling with all kinds of stuff. Her creative Discord prompt. Time wound. Oh man. That's pretty cool. Let's just throw that on the board. Oh, where'd it go? Oh man, I just put it right in the center. No elaboration, up to the reader. They send it to France instead of French Street class. I hope they don't. Wound like a clock, your goose. Or is it? Ooh, I like time wounds. But anyway, I don't know if y'all remember a couple streams ago. Really wish PowerPoint had the ability to pan. But anyway, you know, I made those. We worked on the Mega Man X2 Mavericks and we turned them into ttrpg encounters, and I was working on some kind of handout for them so y'all could go download and play with them. And it's supposed to just slide into whatever game you want, so they don't have stats. But I wanted something that gave you an idea. I mean, you got their, on the page, you're gonna have their history, their background, and details about them, and like what their movesets are supposed to be. But I wanted something you could look at just as a glance, kind of like this thing right here. So I got a bunch of different samples I was working on. Something you could just look at and be like, oh, this is about him. Like here in the center is his core feature. So like somebody was the Flash, you know, his would be speed and then things as they go out. Something you could just quick look at. I think I was trying to make it more intelligent than it needed to be. More fancy than it needed to be. Homonym from 30 Rock Games comes to mind immediately. My bongo cat has blood splatter, so I have violence on the brain. Yeah, system agnostic monsters. So we gave them a setting. That was part of the challenge, or just what we decided to do. We made a roll table for settings, so then we would pick one of the Mega Man bosses, roll up a random setting, and say, alright, so we're going to use him as the inspiration, but for this setting. So like Wire Sponge was Weird World War. I think Crystal Snail was Weird World West, or World West, Weird West. I'm pretty sure I gave him a cowboy hat. He's not on this page. I got rid of the hat. Sad day. So, something you could just look at, and I was trying to figure out a fun graphical way to represent that. But I'm terrible at that kind of thing, so it didn't get very far. Agnards. Really excited about the pyramid, that and an enemy action hex setup like I never went for my projects is planned. Yep, well this is, if I did the hex, you'd need a fourth, third tier kind of thing. I thought about this. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here so y'all can see. Like you have your core feature, and then each time you go up, you double the last tier, and then they get less important as you go out. So core feature, then 2, tier 1 features, I guess you would call them. There can be things about them. Then you get 4 tier 2s, 8, you know, but they get less and less and less important. So I think that's too much. Then I thought about hop over here. Your core, 2 traits, 3 behaviors. It's like, you know, the idea is to keep it simple. Something you can just glance at and get an idea. See, this was the pyramid right here. Like weather control, robotic flesh, plant mutations, and then more about his mind space. And that's when I kind of realized, as I was trying to make these different tiers, I was like, okay, I need to know what exactly we're gunning for in these tiers. Like, are these physical things about him, like physical traits? Are they supposed to be mental traits or behaviors? So when I started thinking a simple flowchart, no. The chemical warning type style, which one's that? Oh, is that this one over here? But as I got to thinking about that, I was like, well, because I just happened to have this idea recently about nuts. Here's the weird part of whatever this is. Hey, I was just talking about you earlier, Jordan. I did make a boring and a creation of this. I'm not a big fan of flowcharts either. So nuts, and we actually tested this recently. Not that it really affected anything. So in nuts, when you make your character, you can pick skills and stuff. But to describe your character, I had this thing that was just nut. Make your character's nut, and it was nature, utilities, and talents. Or tail. It was tail or talents. You could be tail if you wanted a whole backstory, and if you just wanted a few things he was good at, you pick talents. But then I thought, well, hey, we can do nature, utilities, talents. Gotta get lined up perfect. And shortcomings. That way you have like a flaw, essentially. And then if you want to write a backstory, you can, but it's not part of the actual nuts. So then I was like, well, shoot, can we just use that for these guys? And then I can shamelessly self-promote nuts and be like, hey, use the nuts system to define your enemy. Because really, that's all you need when you're making bad guys in nuts. That's all I do. I just give them a few bullet points. These Agnards are nuts. Good things, you're sure. Yeah, man. We, well, so the armor system I was telling you about and the DM earlier, that is from Crabsoft's game, who is in the chat. It was from Words of Power. White, orange, and white squares. Oh, this one? Yeah. I kind of wanted that to do something different, but it didn't really work. I could, like, keep going, but it almost made something neat. My epic backstory. My character is a 6th son of a farmer from nowhere. Nuts named funny. It is funny, because all your characters have nuts. You love a good crab armor. I mean, he's got a fun game, so should try it out sometime. Some Words of Power. Motivate him to, I would say finish, but I feel like it's finished, so I don't know what the next step is. Yeah, you can, Wisp. You can just keep going, I guess, if you wanted to. I don't know, like, in my mind I was thinking, like, I like the idea of keeping some kind of ratio, you know? For every time you add one, you have to do these other things. But I don't really think that works with this one. Unless you're constantly have to have it a full diamond. That's interesting. But you can only have the one core. Oh, that's kind of neat. So then if you do this, you have to come up with 2 more, and then, oh my gosh. Many more of these. 7 more. It gets huge. But I guess you could. Let me know we need some halfling art. Oh, you heard it was some terrible game. Yeah. It's terrible game. It may work better with the color following a W pattern. Fate does a skill triangle. To have level 3 skill, you need to have 2 level 2 and 3 level 1. Guys, see ya, Peter. Now is a triangle more like this thing right here? This one, like core features at the top, and then you go down. They're not really related to each other though. Excuse me. Farewell, swear. And the idea, though I guess this can change. How am I going to show this? I guess I can just take a screenshot real quick. If I take a little screenshot, the idea is to fit it on a page, kind of like that. So I need something that fits in there and is legible. Because I was saying, like, this one's pretty cool because it's like core feature and things go out from it, but I feel like it takes up a lot of space and doesn't give you much for the amount of space it takes up. So I don't know. Put that over there though. What you're doing right now is graphic design. Sure. Corn milk, that's exactly what it is and why I'm terrible at it. I started with stats, but then I was like, well, no, because then people like try to figure out exactly what they're supposed to be, and I don't want them getting lost in the sauce of that. That's still for the core concepts, right? Like what they are, not what they... Yeah, because see, you have... The idea, anyway, is you'll have your setting to tell the players what's it about, and then about that character specifically, and then you have your abilities over here. That's like, hey, it still doesn't say like, oh, it does X amount of damage. It's just, like this one says he can summon tentacles from the ground, anywhere there's dirt. So... a just vague description, and then something down here that's more about how they act and priorities, I guess. Because like their core, his core thing anyway, is his ability to control the weather. Like that's pretty huge, and that's going to be what he focuses on. But then you have these two things out here, like he's got plant mutations on him, and he's part robot, part flesh. Like those are pretty significant traits you'll have to deal with. And then some, like he was in the war, so he's got some war history and battle tactics to him. Planetary form isn't bad, why aren't you? I think it takes up a lot of space, Wisp, I feel like anyway. And I think the idea here was, for whatever I come up with, was that the GM or whoever's doing this can look at this, so like, whenever a player wants to do something, they're like, okay, let me look at this thing. How would that translate? And then, so if somebody's like, I want to punch this guy, then they look at this thing and they're like, oh, he's like part machine. That's probably not going to work too good. So, but there's no stat for that. So you just look at this blob of information. No flowcharts, corn milk. No flowcharts. We already went down that road. Terrible dream within a dream. Dang, you need a nap. Yes, Glee did like the rings, and maybe that's what we'll do. I just need to make it fit better. Have you had anyone use them? No, not yet. I haven't released them to the wilds yet, so I've just been hanging on to them. Oh man, AI viewers. That's what I want. I wonder if Glee's already banned him. Oh, she did. She's so fast. She's so fast. What is Dynasty? Are you wanting to help GM focus with a 1-2-3 approach, or are you leaving? It's only fish. Such. Oh, I know that guy. It is a terrible OnlyFans. I hope you didn't pay for this. I'd say you need requirements to do good design, which would require using. Oh man, I wish. Thing. Using molecular model might not be a terrible idea if it's the latter. Yeah, so Wisp, that is kind of. That's why I was like having a 1-2-3 kind of thing. So it's keeps you within boundaries. If somebody else were to take this and try and do something else with it, or for me for future projects, it's like, all right, instead of ballooning out or trying to find perfection, it's like, okay, just what's really, it doesn't even have to be like what's the most important thing, it's just what's really important to this guy. Then you go down a tier, like what's some driving features. And that's why I was saying I think the tiers need to be named. So if we were to, and I guess what you could do, could you fit 4 on the inner ring? And then, like if you wanted to, how many could you fill? 6 on the outer? I don't know. Well, Cornbread, we do have a pyramid up here somewhere. Let's see. That is where I started, was a pyramid. But for them to be here, they must be bad. Well, they're offering AI viewers for sale. Is that a Words of Power battle board? No. And the design idea is to force GMs to focus on core of a character and to still this. Well, maybe not. It's supposed to be a handy dandy reference. So when player says I want to do a thing, and again, like if a player is wanting to just go over and like essentially wrestle this guy to the ground, they could look at this thing, this little molecular planetary thing or whatever I'm making, and be like, oh, he's part machine, he's got weird plant mutations. That's probably going to end very badly for the player, or he's going to really struggle with that. And I did have another thing I thought about, and I think I mentioned this in a previous stream, but let me go. When I was thinking about stats, I thought about something like this. Let me. Oh, it went up here. That's fine. I thought about just something simple like that, some dots, and the idea was no dots meant no challenge. Like you were most likely going to succeed. Obviously, there's always still a chance of failure, but 1 dot meant it was going to be a challenge, like even challenge, but 2 dots was challenge with caution. Like you were maybe not most likely going to lose, but it was going to be very difficult. Whereas 3 dots was like, avoid this challenge. Avoid the challenge unless you bring in some extra help, find a different advantage or something like that. See a sage. Bit farther in the process that we're seeing. This is the one that reminds me about it. Yeah. Outgunned had dots. just tell you how many dice you roll. But I like the definition of them, like light challenge, challenging, challenge with caution, and then avoid the challenge. But technically nothing was impossible. It just kind of determined your approach. But for that, it's like, okay, well, we have to give them stats, and like that gets lost in the sauce, I feel like. I don't like name stats for this. Name stats are fine when they're in their own game, but when they're going across multiple games and systems and settings, it's like, doesn't work too good. Did you find any Wrangle Bin was hype? No. But that is this week. I played Outgunned a while back. Dave ran it. There was a stream of it. So. Bin is this Friday, I think. Or what day is it 12th on? That is a Friday. Yeah. Gonna be a good time. Ooh, Peter's sending me artwork. That's pretty cool. Alright. Yep, Friday. Gonna be a good time. Inverting the numbers of reference, foundation, the core of what they are. Steps, their major actions. Pinnacle, one thing that makes this person mentally, emotional, individual. Today is not Wednesday, that's all we know. Yep. We had to find that one out the hard way. Oh. Categories, if it's meant for quick reminders. What you mean? What you mean? I feel like I'm this close to actually figuring out what I want, but for figuring out how to explain it. Also, I like how my R is just dangling. Oh, you guys can't see that over there. It's just barely there. Let's say something like, so if I say core, that doesn't mean a core ability. It could be a core stat. Like we talked about the speed guy. Speed could be the name of his game. Or it could be some kind of knowledge he has. That's what really drives him. Or, I guess, drives him. So maybe, all right, let's do this, Wisp. You like this one, so let's do this. Let's say you have a mimic, just a good old-fashioned regular mimic. How would you fill this solar system out? Bubble map. What is a bubble map? I guess I missed that. Oh yeah, you did say it up there. Bubble map. Let me go see what a bubble map is while Wisp figures out how to fill that in. Bubble map. Oh, it's that orc guy. Chat was concerned about you last stream. They were like, we haven't seen him in a while. I hope he's okay. Oh, is a bubble map just like a mind map? Corn milk? Not quite, from what I'm seeing. Looks like there's some kind of method to this. Theme, physicality, personality. You been alright? Just been busy with the work and such. Mind map is pretty simple. Yeah, mind maps generally, if they just kind of go wherever. That's all they're meant for brain dump. So some people try and make them look pretty and have structure to them, but and I guess you can. But, yeah, it does look pretty similar though. So let's see. I mean, I want to take what Crabsoft said. Actually, I guess I could just do this. Why is it like... Puts it way down here in the center. Alright. You're tired, Scrap? We'll go to bed. Oh, there was, have you thought of inverting the numbers of reference? Oh no, I already read that. Point of bubble map is core concept and branch out from other places. One bubble center, three bubble. Yeah, that's essentially what we're doing. This song, Guardians Crusade, is the game. Sanclaria. I guess that's like the name of a city or something, probably. You got it right? Uh-oh. So... Theme. What is the theme of a mimic? Shape-shifting? Okay. Disguise, transformation. So what would you do for physicality then? Oh, well, I got the ultra low latency for YouTube. Actually, I kind of meant to turn that off. I think it's too late now, though. It's too late. You're stuck with it. Organic, spongy, suspicious eyes. I like organic. Sticky. Aren't mimics sticky? Teeth and tentacles typically unmoving. Mimics are stuck in. So that would be another one. I'm a visual person, but always take notes with bullet points and lists. I rarely use bubble maps or anything like that. I've gotten more and more into the bullet point thing. I used to be like big mind map guy, and then I realized mind maps are essentially just bullet points. Like, it's the same. It's kind of nice because you can go in different directions, but at the end of the day, it is just a bullet list. So then I just started doing that. Patient. His teeth isn't a personality trait, is it? Hungry. That's a personality trait, right? I would say non-discriminatory, but that's too long of a word. Carnivorous. Greedy. So that's an interesting blob of information, right? Got something that's shape-shifting, organic, sticky, patient, hungry, and greedy. I feel like patient and greedy kind of butt heads, but I understand they can both work. Predatory, that's a good one. I like that one. Alright. Now see, this could also be, and this is a good thing, like this could just be a blob of slime. It's like, oh yeah, it's sticky and it can shape shift and all that stuff, and you would know that when you're looking at this. But then you could use this in context, I guess. Later, Blaze. Jello gone bad, yeah. Excuse me. Right, crab. Yeah, you have the rest of that handout you would have read. So you're not depending solely on this. It's just kind of, you read all that information, and then you see this, and it's that kind of like your going away thought, that last imprint it has on you. Is this for your mimics that can take multiple forms? I don't know. We're just doing a random mimic just to see how our little ring thing worked. So how would, I'm just thinking out loud here, I might answer my own question. So like Wire Sponge has a bunch of war and combat knowledge. Like where would that fit on here? Would that be personality? Because it's not his driving thing or his main core or whatever. I guess I go on the outer ring, right? But maybe personality needs a different word. Maybe that could be nature. Not to be confused with the other nature from Nuts. Dark Souls mimics when a chest grows legs and feet. Yeah. Mimics and Dark Souls are bad. Oh no. Is this just nuts? Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of is, Glee, because that's what I thought about. It's like, oh, do I just need to use the Nuts character thing for this? Because it would work, but that'd just be bullet points. I was kind of hoping to do something visual. Personality, unless physicality by way of somehow physically embodied. Personality for sure. Okay. Trad mimics. Ones that can regularly change forms have different core concepts. One is a trap, the other is a deceiver. Deceiver! Oh, that'd be a fun word to put out here. Call it body or mind. All right. Well, let's try another one. I should make a copy of this. And do we want to keep it 1, 2, 3? All right. What are we making this time? Body, mind, and style? Kind of, I guess. This is PowerPoint, crap. We're not doing Excalidraw today. Kraken? A pirate? Let's do a Kraken. Alright. There you go. He's Kraken. Very small Kraken. Let's see. Bossy, unhelpful. That's pretty good. Hey, Zyros. All right. So what is... Are we actually doing Gleeful Kraken or a Kraken? I might get in trouble if we do Glee, but we can try it. So what is Glee's core feature? Or her theme? Purple? Okay, let's do a real Kraken. Do a real Kraken. We'll do a real Kraken. So what is a real Kraken's theme? Wrath? Ooh. See ya, orc man. Destruction. Dominance, territorial. Crunching ships. Let's just go with wrath. Sea rage. Okay. And then the outer two were physical, right? Terrifier. Brr. Shipwreck. Tentacly. Big. Alright. Tentacles. Big. With the vine boom. Eldritch. Ooh. I think... Could you squeeze that in personality? Is Eldritch a personality trait? Like Eldritch knowledge? Shmaybe? Shmaybe? How many tickles to tickle an octopus? I don't know, man. That's a weird question. Oh, 10 tickles. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I got it. War torn. Ooh. That's kind of cool. If he's like... Maybe his wrath came from being in a bunch of war, like people trying to hunt him down all the time. Crab is winning today. Yeah, Elder says an uncanny. Yeah. Boy, YouTube really is lagging, isn't it? Vengeful. Okay, well, we can do that. Vengeful. Is that how you spell it? And... Can't do angry. We already got vengeful. Non-discriminatory again, just kills everything. Our monsters are so violent. Unrelenting and determined. Inconsolable. Aggressive. I feel like that kind of goes with vengeful, maybe. No, I could see the difference there. Stealthy. Can't see the monster coming. That's a good point, though. So, okay, so that takes us to the next question. Ambusher. Yeah, do we want to keep it as 1, 2, 3? Or do we want to expand on that? Like, can it be more? Should it be more? Or just limit? Like, out here can be up to 4. And these can be up to 6 or something. I'm overthinking it, I know. How I do. Because there is... It's that creativity through restriction, right? When you say, okay, you can only do 3, then you have to be careful about which ones you pick. It makes you think more about it. I think planetary design specifically facilitates adding more. How quick you want this stage to be and how helpful you think it will be to play. Yeah. I feel like this outer ring is doing more of the heavy lifting. And the center one. Like, do we even need the physical part. One tree 5. Ooh. Doubling between rings 2 and 3 seems excessive, yeah. Do you have an older one without current context? What you mean, Crab? Like an older ring thing? Or... But I just started doing these. I don't really have anything. Point of merging the rings, it would be a pentagon or hexagon. An Elden Ring. Or you want me to make one and you guys see if you can figure out what it is? I don't have any that I've already done, I don't think. Let me check. I think I was just piddling, yeah, with wire sponge. I hadn't done the other guys. Well, I tried, yeah, here, I did try. You might recognize this one. This was the pyramid. Can you know which Maverick that was for? Like, we're all thinking about Kraken, so it's hard to imagine how helpful any of the info. Yeah. Well, there's one. What do you get from that? It would be a cyberpunk setting. So you would at least have that information, right? Would have played him a lot different from this base. Bitch killer. One 1516. I wonder if she'll bring me any food back. I doubt it. Hey, I recognize this tune. Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. Does that second ring need, or I guess first ring, so core, first ring, outer ring. Does the inner ring need to be something different? Organic and sticky's like, I guess helpful. It didn't do much for the Kraken. I guess if the Kraken had something unique about him, like when you say Kraken, people generally know what that is. So if it was like some cyberpunk setting or something and this was a robo Kraken, it'd be like, yeah, metal limbs. Ah. Then it'd be helpful. Yeah. I think if you're indeed trying to limit the slots to fill the planetary, that isn't ideal. If you didn't know what a Kraken was, that info would be helpful. Yeah. So I guess we could say, alright, you gotta do at least, well, no, I was gonna say at least 1, 2, and 3, but then you if you said that, then you could have more than one core. That's no good. We don't want that. That's not gonna work. These cores, hey ho. Well, I was kind of hoping I could just bring nuts over into this. My perfect, flawless system, but I guess not. So I think with the 1, 2, 3 method, giving an image would do heavy lifting. Well, yeah, an image would be great. But you know what that means? That means finding an artist, which means hiring an artist, which means money. And I don't have that. I am quite broke, as it turns out. James, you're in the chat. Give me some money. Stop spending it on tacos and burritos and buy me an artist. Alright. So if we did the nuts wrap, just humor me here. Humor me. We'll do it next to... We'll do it next to our mimic. I have to ask you for a lesson. They gave you some peanuts. You had to get it from the squirrels, though. Art from the public domain. I guess you could for a Kraken, probably. Oh, was this for your game specifically or a generic framework? I was on it. It's for a generic framework, but I had, as I started thinking about this Wisp, I had the idea for that change in nuts that we did when we played recently, where you had nature, utilities, talents, and shortcomings instead of just nature, utility, and tail. So, I was like, well, gee, can I just use that too? So that would be significantly less visually appealing, but it would be much easier, right? So nature, which is actually in the physical sense, so large tentacles, sea dweller, something like that. I don't know. Because that's how you do it in nets. And then you just have another block. Oh, and guess... Oh, no, wait. We're doing a mimic, not a kraken. I'm sorry. Shape-shifting. Sticky. Flesh. Do mimics have bones? I guess not. Is this an Amazon listing? No. Utilities. In nuts, utilities is what you're carrying on you. So, that would not apply. And then talents would also be shape-shifting, right? Okay, yep, that's not gonna work. They can become bones. That's true, they can become anything, so. They have bones, and at the same time, they don't. Schrodinger's bones. They exist and they do not. Well, let's just do another one then. But for real this time. So let's do it for... I need another PowerPoint open. Let's see. Overdrive Ostrich was a steampunk thing. So he's super fast. He was a prototype of autonomous steam-powered robots. But he was actually taking control of the other robots in the base. He ran off all the humans. And he's chilling out in the desert. So speed, we know speed's his thing. Speed! He fast. Mimics his foe undead. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Don't worry about Crabsoft. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Lurking much, lurking much. So his physicality is Steambot. And he can also think for himself. What's the word I'm looking for? Autonomous. That's the word we used. Autonomous. Anonymous. Is that how you spell it? That's a big word. It's creeping off into my other ring. Oh no. Ah. Oh well, good enough. And then personality. Steam powered giraffe. I don't know. Let me go back and look at him. He's smart. Forming a symbiotic bond with an intelligent mimic is how you get a fantasy version of Venom. True, true, true. Angry Girl Rock. Free will, there you go. It's smart, not smut. Smart. There's an R in there. It's the southern way of saying smart. Yeah, that should have been, that doesn't go under physicality. That goes over here. Technically, he was made for war, so he's a war machine. So does that actually... Is it actually helpful? If you saw that on the page, would you be like, oh man, that's nice? Or would you be like, oh yeah, that looks kind of cool, and then ignore it? War machine is redundant? Oh man. Is it though? Is a machine built specifically for war? I think. Isn't that what he was? Oh, he's a prototype. So technically he wasn't. I thought he was made for war. So he was just... There you go. He's just a prototype. Oh, wow. That's not how you spell that. Prototype. He's unique. I mean, you could be a warmonger steambot that was not made for war. It's unlikely, but that might make it all the more interesting. Do you ever find an editor stuff screwing around? Yeah, man. Yeah. They're hard at work. Well, actually, no, they're not, because they just gave it back to me. I'm hard at work now. That is the lore of steam-powered giraffe, actually. Well, that's lame. They stole it from me. But yeah, I just got the go-ahead yesterday, right? Yeah, we had a call first thing in the morning, so I gotta start cranking out some chapters. Which is alright. Got my video done, so I don't have that hanging over my head. Cheapters. Funny. Let me check on her. Never mind. Oh, why did that go away? I minimized this, and it minimized OBS for some reason. That was weird. My own NPC reminders, I mostly use a list of priorities. See, I really, when I'm running a game, say I don't have anything like this. Cause like I'll make the monsters and stuff myself, so I usually, not always, know what I'm dealing with. So I don't really need to reference anything. Progress needs time. That's me all the time. But I was wondering if something like this would just help get information across. Like I said, it would be the last thing you read on the page, so you get all the text information. And then this is just that final image little bit that you get on the way out. It might just be a big old nothing burger, honestly. I don't usually reference a game time, but while playing, I'll pull out a faction page that lists rank priorities. Yeah. I feel like it might be a big nothing burger, but it's cool looking nothing burger, right? Sometimes that happens. You get an idea, it sounds cool, and goes nowhere. I just don't know if it's needed. This would have been nice to have something to break up all the text. It does fill it out nicely, that's what I'm saying, and it'd be the... Well, maybe not to fill the page, but the goal was to kind of break up all the text and have something there. And like I said, it's the last thing you see, so you typically remember more of the last thing you see than all the other stuff you read, so that would kind of stick with you. You just made the bank to the... Where are the villains? Optimize to save your printer ink. Hey man, that's important. Ink's expensive. It's expensive. Feels like it's this close to being something super cool. But it's not. Could, let's see. Take the one that Wisp liked. Talking about ink, I'm really tempted to find one old printer that only works on black ink. Inspirations for building the weather tower. Yeah. I guess you could have like world's tiniest map on there too if you wanted. Then I'd have to make maps. Why do you need yellow? I print in black and white. Oh, man, I mean, it's to get your money, that's why. That's why, son. So you have a little map. And you say, start here. And then they have to go meow, meow, and then it's a room, and then it's another room. But you don't want to like make the whole adventure for them, right? I mean, some people do like that. You have a little secret room. Aha! Laser printer. I remember when laser printers first came out. More importantly, why can a company brick you for not having yellow? Crab's asking the real question. Some people think Kirby 64 is a bad game. It can be a good argument, depending on context. Also, Kirby 64 really wasn't that good. From what I remember when it first came out, I remember being a little disappointed. Raged it. Did you like Kirby 64? What was it in the crystal shards? Isn't that what it was? It was just compared to Dreamland 1, 2, and 3, especially Kirby Superstar. Like that was, or was it Superstar? It was Superstar, right? Not All Stars. Super Mario All Stars, and then Kirby Superstar. That was peak Kirby. The minigames. I don't remember the minigames. I just remember like the actual movement and getting around being so sluggish compared to Superstar. I'd have to try it again. I mean, I still played it front to back and like 100%ed it and everything, but Little Scrat was a little disappointed. The combining was cool. That was neat. Fighting words. Hey, I'm just glad he's a Kirby fan. So. Kirby does have good music. I do think Kirby Superstar was definitely my favorite though. Oh, sure. The original. I think they redid it. Which is kind of silly because Superstar was already kind of a redo of some things, so. Kirby's Adventure, the very first Kirby game. That one might be the best one. I don't know. It was pretty solid. I saw that too, Crab. Tome posted it in the Discord server. Nintendo, not to say Ocarina of Time is a bad game, but Nintendo does seem to be scraping the bottom of the barrel because their last big announcement was a Star Fox 64 remaster. So now they're doing an Ocarina of Time remaster. It's like Metal Gear Solid fan at all. So I've never played one. I had a neighbor who had the PS1 Metal Gear Solid, and I watched him play a lot of it. I have a very high appreciation for a lot of what was done in that game. Don't know if I would have played it. I might have played the first one. I really like the outside of the box thinking they did with some of the encounters and stuff, but I've never played any of those games. Start the blind play. Think a simple diamond form would work for the nuts method? I sent. Oh, did you? I got a ping. I got a ping pong. You and your dark mode. Can't nobody see that darkness. All right. What you make here? Nature, utilities, mixed. Mixed nuts, talents, and shortcoming. This AutoCAD you're using? What are you using here? So what is mixed? Or is like your random thing where you don't know where to put stuff? Metal Gear Solid is literally the most inside the box game? Okay, bud. Really had to find a flowchart maker online because I'm on a phone. Well, it's pretty neat. But yeah, what's the mixed ones? Is that where you can't decide where something goes, or it's a little of each, or? It's famous for cardboard workspace. Okay, I get you. If you want more natures or shortcomings, you push in the talent or utilities. So you have a limited amount, but you can move them around, but never more than that total. Basically, it's a flexible line. You still only get 9 slots. Yeah. 1, 3. Yeah, 9. I just tried to make it look pretty. Okay, I gotcha. Funny how the cardboard box tricks automation. I want to know where the cardboard box is I'm trying to ship to you. Seems to be avoiding everybody. Denotes flexibility in what you can fill out. Might be on to something. Tried to tile it for clarity and it made things better. No, you're fine. This is Super Mario RPG, isn't it? It is. Talk about a good game with some great music. I like 1, 2. So we just did nuts. You have just, oop, that didn't work. 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and then 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 1. Because you don't need to give them a bunch of wheels. It's just one shortcoming. And I think this is what I tried, actually, for that game we just had. When I was making bad guys, that's what I tried. 1 bullet point for nature, 2 on utilities, 3 for talents. And 1 shortcoming. You can also add another spot in each column. Might be too many. So you can just make this a, actually, whoop. Give me this. You could just do this. Why is the bullet point 10 miles over there? Alright. PowerPoint, you're letting me down, you're making me look bad. So you could have, we're doing our mimic. Shape shifting blob, and then utilities. So then you just have good old-fashioned easy text. They would not have any. Because they're not active. Because remember, that was things not part of your physical body. Then it would be take form of objects. Sticky grip. Big teeth. And then shortcomings would be greedy. It'd try and get whatever it could. I do like the nuts approach. Might be a little biased, but can also add another spot. Oh, I did that. What I have is 135351. I was world building frontiers and end up making a religion. Dude, that's when you know it's good. If you accidentally stumble upon it. Take half of Cyber Crab and half of SpongeBob and see. Oh no. I don't know anything about SpongeBob other than he is square and yellow and very obnoxious. Is all I know. He lives in a pineapple under the sea. Yeah, well, okay, I guess I knew that. Dude, I don't watch SpongeBob. I've never watched SpongeBob. Somebody tried to show me a scene from one, and I couldn't stand it. Oh, take half of Cyber Crab and half of Wire Sponge. Let's see what if we wish. Okay. Chauffeur stoners. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. That James watches SpongeBob. You still in the chat? Or did you finally have to go back to work? Watch SpongeBob. Okay, so when did SpongeBob come out? When did SpongeBob first air? First aired as a sneak peek on May 1st, 1999. Premiered July 17th, 1999. So I was 12 years old when SpongeBob first came out. I don't think I was the target audience for that. So, now that said, let's see when something else came out. Two years later, Samurai Jack came out. Now I was watching that one. So yeah, if that was around Samurai Jack, so when SpongeBob came out, I was watching Dexter's Lab, Samurai Jack, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Johnny Bravo. SpongeBob was a few steps down as far as age goes, I feel like, in the target audience. But for some reason, it became wildly popular with older people. Dexter's Lab was good. Johnny Bravo. But no, I have never watched a full episode of SpongeBob. I tried once, and I just couldn't do it. I will say, though, I was taking care of somebody's house for them while they were away. And like the cat had turned the TV on or something. And I think it was the SpongeBob movie. And SpongeBob was rocking out to Rockin' Like a Hurricane, that old classic rock song. And he was like, just jamming out in, I guess, their little tavern or whatever they have down there. That was pretty humorous. I got a good chuckle out of that. But that's about it. Cyberpunk Edge Runners pulled Samurai Jack. They gave the characters a happy ending in the game rather than the show. What? There was a D&D episode of Dexter's Lab. Do I remember that one? I don't know. SpongeBob was banned in your house. For good reason, too. It was terrible. Brain, that was early brain rot. Too crude. Oh, no. Oh, no. Man, what are we rocking out to over here? Wise Origin. You're strange. Now remember, so Twice Dead, you might not know this, so we had a TV, but we had no cable, no satellite, no nothing until I was about 12 or 13. Yeah, because we had DirecTV when Samurai Jack released, because I remember watching the premiere. But we hadn't had it very long. So we had no cable or anything until that point. So I was in the habit of not watching TV. And for all the things my parents have done, that is one thing I will say, job well done. Is not just turning the TV on and telling us to go watch it to get rid of us. No cable, no nothing. We had our like Disney movies we would watch, but even then we didn't watch that many. We just didn't. We had our Nintendo systems and we liked playing Nintendo, but we still had to like go outside and all that stuff. So there was none of that getting glued to the TV like my neighbors did when I was growing up. They just watch. They'd come home from school, bloop, turn the TV on, get to watching. So, jeez. Watch soaps on tiny black and white TV until right at that age. Video game make your brain strong. Well, they used to. Now, which is so funny because, you know, they used to say, video games will rot your brains out. And then did some studies later and found out, oh no, video games are actually good for you. But now I feel like video games probably do rot your brain out. They don't make them like they used to back in my day. But they are legitimately made just to like keep you addicted. Especially the mobile ones, right? So game quality is definitely in the toilet. Man, ttrpgs make slings weaker than bows. Man, slings can be rough. Depends. Well, yeah, it does depend on the game. But I'm saying more and more of them are just geared towards keeping you on the app, right? And you know, think of all the kids you see. I don't know how bad it is over where you're at, Twice Dead, but U.S. Very common to go somewhere and just see a kid glued to a tablet or a phone or something, and there's just not good games on phones and tablets. I've not seen one. It's just all mindless blah 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 blah, scrolling and tapping. Like I don't think it's that bad until I see one of those videos of a kid with like 2 tablets and a TV going at the same time. It's like, okay. Pretty common there too. Yeah. I don't know, man. They'll just, parents will hand them the tablet. It's the shut up tool. I guess it works. And this is the thing, like when I sit and think about it, I was like, man, that's really weird, because like we had Game Boys when we were little. Granted, you couldn't see them very well. You had to have just the light right, or just the right light. But we never took Game Boys to restaurants or anything like that. The only time we would play our Game Boys in the house, or if we went to go visit grandparents, which was an 8-hour drive, we would bring our little our Game Boys with us, so we would have something to do while we were there, while the adults were talking, you know, or, you know, later in the evening when we're all winding down, you know, instead of bringing the whole Nintendo, it's like, just bring your Game Boy. So, yeah, seeing just in a restaurant or something, here's your tablet, max volume, go nuts. No, I don't remember ever taking a Game Boy anywhere in public. The one that got me was a kid swiping in their sleep. Yeah, I've seen some of the like videos on that, and they're just like, that's nuts. Distinctly remember playing Pokemon Blue in a tree. How'd you see? Oh, I don't think I ever took my Game Boy outside because I was just scared to like drop it or lose it or something. And I don't think Mom would have let me anyway. Don't you take that thing outside, it's too expensive. Talking about games is really funny how the only other game coming out in November, next game is Godzilla game. What? The Godzilla game's coming out. Back then we were afraid the sun would damage electric. Hey, it was not kind to some of them. Charged an in-game weapon using sunlight though. Oh, that would have been cool. I tell you what, one of the cooler things that I saw on the Game Boy, it was a Pokemon ripoff, and it was called Robopon. And it had this thing on top of the cartridge that you'd hit it with like TV remotes or any kind of remote that had the laser on it. You could shoot the game with it, and you would get your little robot Pokemon creatures in the game like that. Like that's how you discovered Robopon in the wild. You could still find them normally, but like that was how you got rare special ones. It's like that was cool because then I was like, that was when I get my Game Boy and go to the neighbor's house and be like, can I borrow your remote? I wish Robopon would have took off. That was so cool. My game got glitched and I got the 7th badge for free. I haven't heard of that charging one though. That's pretty neat. Let's see, where was Robopon what it was called? Robopon. Robopong? It was Robopon. Yeah, and they tried to do the 2 versions. Dude. I guess Sun version, that was the one I had. I was so mad. Little Scrat was mad when Pokemon came out and they had the 2 different versions. I was like, that is so stupid. That's just greedy. And then everybody started making 2 versions of everything, and I was just like, so angry. Robopon bosses, man, dude, I don't remember anything about Robopon lore-wise. I saw robots, and I was like, I'm getting it. Because I love my robots, man. It looks like they made a 2. Why is all the artwork so tiny? Looky there, Robopon 2. For Game Boy Advance. But I thought that was super cool. Like, just the remotes. I'd like to know how that worked. Like, what determined what you got. Like, was it looking at the brand of the remote and model number and everything? The before times. Nobody knew what the differences were. Well, at least with Pokemon, I think we did. We knew there was... You found different ones in different versions. Let's say, where's the wiki for Robopon? Robot Kansu, also known as Robopon. Game Boy Color. Focuses on a boy and his adventure on an island with his robotic Robopon friends while collecting and battling other Robopon. Players could exchange data wirelessly over infrared using Game Boy Kiss features built into the cartridge. It's initially split between 2 versions. More versions. Based on the concurrently running Robopon manga. Oh, man. Oh, only Robopon Sun version was localized into English. Well, that's why I ended up with that version. Being published by Atlas in North America in December 2000. Heck yeah. Mixed reviews. Many outlets noting its heavy resemblance to Pokemon. Well, yeah, it was just a total rip. Oh, they made Robot Pokansu 64. Oh, none of that made it to America. Here's what this intense gameplay looked like, though. Intense. Reading Celtic Myth and my boy Arthur got changed a lot. Had a harem and was beloved by a goddess. Then the French decided to cook him. It happens, man. It happens. Ah, oh, jeez. And then, like, Mega Man Battle Network came out, and they had different versions too, didn't they? There's just absolutely no need for that. But people were like, hey, Nintendo can sell the same game twice. We can do that too. Absolute nonsense. Yeah. I was trying to think how old I was. Mega Man Battle Network did not need different versions at all. Yeah. Yeah. Like there was a lot of that at the time. The different versions. Like, I like the concept of having to trade with other people in their games, you know, to get all the Pokemon, but I feel like there was a better way to approach that than completely locking you out of it through different versions. But I don't know. Pokemon was, they also kind of royally screwed up because the whole thing was like, gotta catch them all, but there was absolutely zero incentive to catch all of them. So of course I don't know what the, I guess just in-game bonuses or something, I don't know. See, and then when years later when what was it, Pokemon Go came out, that was another super cool concept. It was like, oh yeah, you actually get to go out into places in the real world and try and catch Pokemon. That was so cool, such a cool an idea. And they botched that one too. I guess that's, is that still a thing? Is Pokemon Go still a thing? Or, I know they sold all their data for some like AI routing thing, map for like robot deliveries or whatever, but they didn't shut down the game, right? Zero incentive, and then they started doing special event time limited stuff. Pokemon Go is the greatest fumble of your lifetime. I agree. They could have done so much more with Pokemon Go. They could have done so much more with what they already had, you know, without having to add new things. They just had to shuffle some pieces around. They removed the feature that tells you how close you are to a Pokemon. What was the point of that? So there's no reason to go anywhere. Summer of Pokemon Go is the closest we'll ever have to world peace. It was a time, man. It sucked for people like me, though, that were kind of out in the sticks, because there was nothing. Like, there was, you needed the stops, right? The Pokestops and everything to get your items and whatnot. Nothing. I had to drive 20 miles to find one. But I remember when a bunch of workplaces were getting mad at all their workers for going out for walks to go catch Pokemon and everything. It's like, hey man, let them go for a walk. They're allowed to do that anyway. It was one of those things you were technically allowed to do until you did it. We were unified. It was cool, man. I remember on the way to work, there was this church I would drive by. It was like 15 minutes from the house by the time I got 15 or 20. by the time I drove past that church to get to work, and it was a gym. It was a gym. It was like the only one around. And I remember going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, and somebody else in their big old jacked up truck was sitting in the parking lot of that church doing a gym battle. It's like, okay, I'm not the only one. Oh, jeez. Of course, that was back, like, you didn't even really do anything for gym battles, right? Didn't you just, like, drop your Pokemon there and call it a day? Or there was, like, some tapping thing you could do, I think. I don't know. It was weird. I remember going to the park a couple times trying to catch some. That was an augmented reality thing you could do. You hold your camera up and see the Pokemon and all that. That was cool. It was a real battery killer, but it was cool. But actually kind of blurring that line between game and reality, right? It's like, okay, I'm in the real world going out and hunting and searching for these digital video game creatures. Like, that's super cool. Augmented reality believer, but I've never spent the time to design it. Yeah. That's, I feel like one reason that never took off is because it's such a liability. You don't go out enough to have good ideas. Because, like, I don't know if Pokemon Go, or whoever made it, actually got sued, but there were so many accidents because people were, you know, looking at their phone and get run over by a car or something, or walk right. I remember one person walked right off a cliff. Just woo! So stupid, but like, you know, the world we live in. Accidents, trespassing. Yeah, see, like, nope. Most people probably wouldn't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole because there's an accident waiting to happen. But like the idea of everybody playing this game and crossing paths in the real world, but meeting up in their little digital game, like exchanging creatures or robots, whatever the case may be, doing their gym battles and stuff, like that's so cool. Like, start taking over territories and whatnot. Do you know Monster Hunter? The game where you go hunt big monsters. You kill a monster, you harvest their stuff, you make armor and weapon, and then rinse and repeat 5,000 times. I'm familiar with that one. I tried playing it, and I wanted to claw my face off because it was so boring. I liked the concept, but playing it was just like... I really hate games that have the 10-second commitment to swinging a sword. Like, it's so stupid. So Dark Souls, in other words. Like, I hate that so much. Massively more popular in Japan. People playing with randos all the time on Facebook. Oh, yeah. See, I remember commercials way back in the day for things like that would promote that. Like, oh, yeah, you know, people on the subway or whatever, or on the bus, you know, when Pokemon came out, it's like, link up with your friends. You know, the idea you're trading with all these random people. It never really... I guess in Japan it is probably more so, but like in the US, especially out where I lived in the sticks, like you never saw that. And then Pokemon Go came out. It's like, oh, hey, all those commercials from the 90s, we can make a reality now. Like we can be trading with the strangers, battling with the strangers, doing all this video game stuff. And nope, buy more Pokeballs. Robo. So if Cyros, is that the game where you get I think up to 4 robots? They all look the same, but you can even like paint them and color them and deck them out how you want. It's like very traditional JRPG game. If so, I did not play it on the Super Nintendo physically, but I do have the ROM of it. I discovered it through that. I just downloaded a bundle of ROMs, and that's how I found it. And I would have absolutely loved that game when I was a kid. I would have been all over it. I haven't beat it. I did play it a good bit, the ROM, and then just stopped for some reason. It's super fun. But yeah, pretty sure if I had played that as a kid, it would have become a personality trait. I would have been so into it. Yeah, okay, yeah, so we're talking about the same one. Yeah, Robo. Trek or whatever. It's very cool. That was scrap through and through as a kid. Some Nintendo DS games have sort of passive pass-by mode. Yeah, where it just auto ping anybody in there and then you get rewards. Yep. Yeah, the DS was cool. That was the folding one, right? No, I'm thinking of SP. That was the little square one that you could fold. It was like Game Boy Advance Plus or something. I never really got in DS. DS was a dual screen, right? I love that little foldy one though. Just a square little thing. It lit up on its own. You could actually see it. So nice. Don't you like find Dracula in RoboTrick at some point? I think that's about as far as I got, was some vampire haunted house or something. Completely indestructible. Local multiplayer and online, helpful. Oh, that's right, it did have all of that, didn't it? That's right, wasn't Mario Kart on the DS, like only one person had to have it and then everybody around you could just play it? Or something like that. Backwards compatibility, yeah. That's another fine piece of history, isn't it? Good lord. What was it? PlayStation 3, when it came out, it could play PlayStation 2 games, and then PlayStation was like, nah, we're not doing that. And then the next run of PS3s didn't do that. That's so dumb. SP interfaced with the GameCube, did it? Did I do any Game Boy shenanigans on the GameCube? I feel like I remember trying something once. Dude, the GameCube was underrated. That was a cool little box. It was a potent little box, too. That I don't think actually got fully used or utilized. Neato Mosquito. Use 4 of them for Final Fantasy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay. It's slowly coming back to me. Man. Problem is, it's getting farther and farther back there every day. It gets a little farther back there. Everybody just plays it. True facts, dog. True facts, yeah. Everybody just plays it so safe now. You know, we have this long history of what did and didn't work, so people just look at what works and run that into the ground instead of trying new things. Like this whole Robopon thing with the remote, that was brand new concept. I thought it was super cool. I will say, that is my old man screaming at the clouds. I miss the days when we didn't have a track record in history of what did and didn't work for video games, so everything was an experiment. The Wii Vitality sensor. Didn't have one, but I think I remember it. Was that part of the workout thing you could get? Or is this something totally different? Because I didn't have any of the workout Wii stuff. Guy announced it, everybody laughed him off stage. I might be thinking of something different then. What was the finger clip that would track your heartbeat for like horror games? Never got used because everyone lulzed. Okay, yeah, no, I don't remember that one. But yeah, don't people do that all the time now when they're streaming and stuff? Playing spooky games? Oh, there it is. Wii Vitality sensor. Was canceled accessory for the Wii in 2009. It's been suggested by Iwata that it would be used to relax the player, telling them their heartbeat and about their body. Excuse me. There's a canceled Wii series game called Wii Relax that was going to use this accessory. And so it's showing in E3 2009, and then E3 2010, the device was not shown or even mentioned. When asked why, a Nintendo spokesperson said that they didn't feel it was the right time to show it off just yet, saying that they would at a later date. It has been speculated that Nintendo chose not to show it off after a similar product was revealed by Ubisoft, or Ubisoft, however you say that, the night before at their press conference. And then July 2013 was confirmed to be canceled due to testing issues. (2013). That's funny because, like, now granted, the doctors around here are usually a little behind, but I feel like they didn't start using that. Well, 2013. Yeah. Okay, I guess they were using the finger thing by then. Because that's all it is one of those. Missed the Dreamcast, the way the memory card was mini handheld game was cool. I didn't have a Dreamcast, but man, we were at the beginning of the stream, we were talking about like Skies of Arcadia and Phantasy Star 1 and 2. Those are Dreamcast games that made it to the GameCube. They were solid, so. I feel like Dreamcast had some real bangers on it. You got your first console in 2009. Little whippersnapper. My first brand new game I ever owned was Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. That is still my favorite visual style for Zelda. I barely remember anything about the game, other than it looking cool. Oh, I've never played a Zelda game more than once. Like, well, I haven't played through more than once. Like, I'll play it, get to the end, and be like, alright, I'm done. I have no reason to play this again. I don't remember much of any of it. Dreamcast had no DRM, so you could just burn a CD and play a game. So Pricey kind of murdered it early. You're 14 to 15 for the record. Man, you had to wait so long to get a console. Your first console was an Atari. Oh man, my neighbors had an Atari, and I always wanted to. We would hook it up every now and then, but they weren't that interested in it. I wanted to go ride the four-wheeler. Just technologically behind. The Wii Speak. What is that? Allows the players to talk with others around the world without the need of a headset. I feel like the Wii universe could have been a lot more. We always end up talking about old games. Well, you know, they're classics for a reason, man. Metaverse. Weverse, not Metaverse. The Wii Zapper. There was a GoldenEye on the Wii? Huh. It's a remake of the... Oh, I didn't know that. What? Oh, that was a nice find, Cyros. We had our NES, and then two people we know also had an NES, and what ended up happening is theirs stopped working, and they never bothered to like clean it or anything. So they found out we had our NES, and they were like, "Oh, you can just have all our games." So we have quite the collection of old Nintendo games. We had the retro emulation. Was that Wii? I thought they just sold like a little tiny, basically a Raspberry Pi that looked like whatever system it was emulating, and it had like 50 games on it or whatever, and that was fair. Well, I guess not fairly recent at this point. Probably over 5 years ago. They did. We did. You could get some old games on there. That's right. Because I think I got one. Just to try it out. And then I was like, yep, this isn't going to last forever. And sure enough, it went away. I'm telling you. That's been a question of mine for a long time now. I don't know why Nintendo doesn't just sell their games on the App Store for phones, like all their entire library, like the old Nintendo games, old Super Nintendo games, even 64 games. Like, if you sold those for $1, you would make so much money. People would just go buy. You do have an emulator that looks like an original great Game Boy. I need to go back and play some old Super Nintendo games. Are you really naming the Hangout to something stupid? Why are you the way you are, Crabsoft? Why are you so edgy? But I don't know. If Hangout works, it does, but like, I was thinking maybe it needs to change because we sometimes end up working on stuff. And Moss and Stone's got to come to an end sometime, right? So I just didn't want to have two Hangouts. But I mean, I guess if it works, it works. We can just say Hangout, and then the line under that says something, what we're doing. Maybe. I don't know. I must drive you to be over here. But they wouldn't be able to resell them. The client will always have access to that. Yeah. I guess. But still, they make such a killing. Just $1 a pop. They'd be multi-millionaires overnight. I mean, they already are, but they could do it again. Find your own silly project for your own 0 viewers. That's right. But see, that's my problem, Crab. I can't work and watch the chat at the same time. So it's like, so this week I have some Moss and Stone stuff to do. It's just working on the manual and prettying it up, but I can't do that and watch chat. Now I could sit here and work on that, and y'all could talk amongst yourselves. But that doesn't seem like a very good time. Or I can sit here and have it on the screen, and I can watch chat. So I can't do both. I am incapable. Maybe one hangout for variety things and a dev stream for a more assembly focused session. Yeah. I mean, you already know I hate asking people to do things, so it's probably no surprise that I would tell you I feel bad if I see chat messages go by unread. So get cracking to do the chat part and you do the work part. Well, she's got to work too, man. She pays the bills. I ain't making no money doing this. I'm broke as a joke. I can't even buy my own tacos. Maybe I just need to learn to work with chat going. But then that's not very exciting for you guys, because you guys are here to like chat and engage. And that's kind of the point of streams, isn't it? We got leftover chili from Frito Pie last night. Chili cheese tots tonight. Oh man, that sounds good. playtest one shots. Well, maybe the second stream. I'm thinking. Maybe I just need to be better organized. But see, sometimes when you're working on this stuff, like what we did today, yeah, sure, we got to exchange some ideas and try some things, but there comes a point, it's like, okay, I just have to sit here and look at it and think. And that's not exactly stream content, I don't think, so. But there's definitely times where it's great to have chat, you know, throwing ideas, like when we made the monsters, the Mavericks, bouncing ideas back and forth. Get one of those whiteboard calendars. Like the Hangout. Oh, I see what you're saying. I've been organized, like in the sense I need to make stuff for the streams to do that work good for streams. Play Metal Gear Solid. So, like, I would like to hang out and play some video games on stream, but I'm a little scared to do it because of YouTube. I think it like would mess up the channel in a way, because, like, you know, we've been doing these streams for a while now. Like, I get subscribers from these streams, so they come in and they're like, oh, he works on this stuff. That's cool. I want to see more of that. They come in and see me playing a game, like, that's not what I normally do. So somebody subscribed for the games and then doesn't get another game stream for a long time. Yeah. The writing advice channel, yeah. Well, creative channel, so. We like to make things here. We're supposed to. But kicking back playing a game would be fun. But we do things like this in live plays. Speaking of, I think the 23rd. The 23rd. I don't know if you guys remember Scale Mail, but he's wrapping up his Kickstarter's been done, but he's wrapping up his book, getting it ready for publishing, and one of his stretch goals was adding a solo section for it. So he's been working on that. So he's going to come on the stream on the 23rd, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. And I think he's just going to run through a solo session for us to see. So I'd like to do more stuff like that. I enjoy the interviews. It was fun. Should be like me and make a second channel for... Well, that's right. That's what I should do. But I don't want to. If it's consistent and off hours, then maybe the impact wouldn't be as bad. That or a spare channel and just links. Yeah. Oh, did you back Scale Mail, Wisp? That's cool. It's a fun little game. I call whatever I do world building, but I wouldn't know how to world build if it did me at least. I've thought about the second channel a lot just for streaming, but it seems like a hassle. I'd have to call it A Squirrel Actually Plays. He back to me. It happens. See, with my... So what would happen if I made the second channel and was just playing games on it? It would start growing faster than the main one. And then I have to give it more time. And then everybody on the main one would be mad because why aren't you giving this time? And then it'd go die. And then the new one would be temporary. And then it would die out eventually as I become irrelevant. That's what would happen. A Squirrel Let's Plays. There you go. It's weird because, like, I feel like you could get away with that on Twitch, right? I could just start playing whatever game. People would be like, alright, they wouldn't mess anything up. But YouTube's sensitive. Squirrel writes the channel for games. Yep, do it backwards. I thought about that. A squirrel works, and then all he does is play games. Got my last 5e thing in recently, years after I stopped backing 5e content. Working on armor, sent it to you before I realized you were still streaming. Yeah, I saw that. I didn't understand your message because it just said better, question mark, but there was like nothing before it. Unless that's what this image is supposed to go with. Armor has block and health points. Block determines. Well, I won't put you on blast here on the stream unless you want me to. I'm reading. Roast him. Roast him. Ah. That's how you get exposure. Exposure to the roast. I don't care, I'll be in front of lots of people soon enough. Alright, here we go. Boop. Let's see what you got here. I think my favorite roast was Whispering Wisp. He gave me something to read, and on the second line, I got to call him out because he misspelled his own name. Alright, armor has block and health points. Block determines how much damage an armor can absorb each turn from its total HP before. So you went with the simplest route, right? That was my alternative to the alternative. Armor's HP is reduced before your max morale. Once armor is out of HP, it's broke. Roll 2d6 on the armor type table to determine your armor type. And then roll 2d6 on the armor quality table to determine the armor's HP. None cloth leather chainmail. Oh wait, no, block determines how much damage armor can absorb. Okay, yeah, no, you went with the first idea. Never mind. Whispering. Okay, so yeah. Armor quality. Multiple piecemeal armor. Yep. I think that'll work better. So for reference, for people who did not play this last night, what his armor was doing, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jordan, if I'm misremembering, you had, we're gonna draw, you had hearts, and then you had your block. So if you had 3 block, you blocked 3 damage. And let's say you had 4 hearts. Now this was not your HP. Your HP, which is your maximum morale, we'll say MM. So that could be like 10 or something. You had to consume a heart to use your block. So something comes at you and it's doing 5 damage. You say, all right, I'm going to burn 1 heart, which blocks 3 damage. So that 5 damage is now 2. So my HP or my morale goes down to 8. Like, not super complicated, but felt clunky. And it seemed like an extra step just to absorb damage. And he said he essentially got that concept from Daggerheart. And you guys have heard me say this a few times before. When I have not played Daggerheart, but reading over the manual, it just seemed like it took something from other games and added extra steps. So I was super not interested in it. Gonna take breakfast? Do it. You're ridiculous. I have a whole lot of that. It was funny though. Just having ascending armor types, HP each type rather than rolling both, but enjoy some granularity. Also could just call everything HP at this point, I suppose. Well, I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you have a theme you're doing, that's fun. So I saw that, and I was like, okay, it's not super complicated. We can make it work. But then after the game, I poked him. I was like, hey, why don't you, you know, because the idea of this game is to be something you pick up super fast, super easy, super simple. In Jordan's words, it's for when your whole group doesn't show up for your regular campaign night, you just pick this up and go. So I was like, well, if the goal is to be simple, like, why not eliminate some steps and just say your armor, what did I say? Thoughts on simplifying this since it's supposed to be quick and easy. Your armor has X HP, but can only absorb up to Y HP per blow. So I think that's what you did. Block determines how much damage the armor can absorb. Yeah. So it can only stop so much damage, and then it has its own health pool. So it's kind of the same thing. It just removes that step of another resource taking away the heart and everything. And I did like the idea of choosing. I guess you still can, Jordan, whether or not you want to use the heart, because before you could let it go straight to your health. But there would be no need to make that choice, I guess, now, which is nice. It's more streamlined. So now, if I understand, you have your armor. Armor has block. Well, we'll just say your armor HP. So it's like your armor has 10, but it can only block 3 at a time. So yeah, you're just negating that damage until it goes poof, and some of it still makes it through. Similar effect, just easier, I feel like. Just gotta test it and find out, Jordan. And that's why I was saying Crab, he could do what you did where the armor shatters, it actually absorbs the rest of the hit. Less confusing. Yep. Yeah, I feel like that would trip a lot of people up, unless maybe if they've played Daggerheart, it wouldn't. But when you say, no, you have to, your heart is not your HP, is already confusing, because you see that big heart on the character sheet, and it's like, oh, I have 3 HP, you know. No, you use 1 heart to activate a block, and that reduces damage, and then the rest goes to your morale. Like I said, it's just an extra step. Daggerheart players tripping on their own feet. I haven't, like I said, I haven't played it. I guess I need to. I've been kind of looking for a game to join, but I don't want to. You just trash talk. Like, well, I mean, I have the manual. Somebody gave it to me. I was just like, yeah, man, this does not look very good. Some people rant and rave. They're like, oh, it's great. It's fantastic. It's like, yeah, I feel like those are the people that were just playing 5e. And it's like, well, yeah, everything's fantastic compared to that. Should I just switch to calling everything HP or MM, or keep the distinction? I don't know. Do you die when your max morale 0? Is that what that represents? Are you dead as in you bled out, or you just can't go anymore? Because if you're like dead when your morale hits 0, then I feel like it would probably need to be called something else. I would just call your armor's hit points armor. Like, your leather armor has 3 armor, and you know that's its pool, and then You could call it armor points, I guess. It's real hard for me to commit to playing anything more complicated than Words of Power at this point. That's kind of how I've gotten, man. Like nuts and easy D6 Tricube. It's like that's good enough. It doesn't need to be any harder than that. It'd be a video game at that point. When your max morale hits 0, you are dying, and each point of damage taken fills. That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, that's fine then. Your morale's that. Then you start, when you have no more morale, you're taking wounds. Well, that's kind of how it works, Crab, because once you add morale, then you start taking wounds and injuries. So I think that's fine. I would try, at least, Jordan, calling your armor hit points just armor. Like you have 10 armor. Your leathers provide 5 armor, but can only block so many points of damage. Twice it also has morale. Because that also, it's like your armor is like what's falling apart, right? So your armor is this value, and that's getting smaller and smaller. It's like, so. Armor points if you need to. Just my thoughts. My thoughts. I was a big beetle when we played last night with a pitchfork. And then I became an earthbender. I got lucky. Good time. Let's see. Oh shoot, you know what? I meant to check and make sure I had the right time for this. I meant to tell you all that at the beginning. Make sure I didn't run over. I might be supposed to be in a call. Let's see. YouTube did the thing again where they scheduled stuff right after I announced what I'm doing for the week. So let us see. That one's on the 11th. Did they move it again? What? Okay. Well, I have something in an hour from now, supposedly. Thursday stream, I will have to make sure I bow out at the 2-hour mark, because I was supposed to be in a call, so. Armor determines your armor. Whenever you armor your armor blocks, X armor until you has no armor. All the armor. How a beetle gonna use a pitchfork? I mean, quite well. Oh, there's a Twitch bot again. Goodness gracious. Was that Twitch? Oh no, that's Kick. Dang. Oh, that's right. Kick is silly and doesn't know how to use small windows. Alright. Anyway, so next stream we're gonna work on Kesho Night stuff. I think we're gonna work on the Beastly Race some more. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like I said, then I have to make sure I get out for another call. The 12th, I'm playing Outgunned with Ben, but that is not streamed. And next week, probably normal stuff. Trying to get some more folks on for interviews, but We'll see, we'll see. Bogus, I know. So, I'm gonna go get me some food. I'm gonna eat that, then I'm gonna see if this call even happens, and then I'm gonna try and write my book. Yes. Or go feed the turtle, then write a book. I kind of got to do it. I got a deadline, man. I got like 5 weeks to write almost a whole book. There's like an extra buffer week in there because she'll be out of town or something. I forgot what the deal was, but the goal is 5 weeks. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough, man. You gotta believe. You gotta believe. The turtle must feed. He must be fed. Man, he's a... Glee saw it. I have a little bag of bell pepper choppings I have for him. And then I squatted down to feed him, and he just grabbed the whole bag. 5 weeks roll, but well, so twice did. The book is written in the sense I have my beginning, end, middle, and all these scenes and characters and plot, but like this is the dev edit. So we went through, we're deciding what needs added, thrown in, taken out, change, swap, that kind of, the big chunky stuff. So it's a lot of work, but it's a reasonable time frame, I feel like, if you're doing it full time. So it's not like, hey, 5 weeks, come up with a whole story. That would be crazy. That would be a low quality book. Are you planning to switch VTTs from Foundry? Or is that man? I don't know, man. It's the devil, I know, right? I know how Foundry works. I can navigate it, and it's still a pretty nice tool. It's just the connection stuff really pisses me off. Like, that should not be anywhere near as difficult as it is. Foundry kind of pissed on itself, Crabsoft, on update 13 a little while back. They're slowly undoing things, but getting people connected to me on Foundry is a real pain. Questline's pretty sharp. It's really easy. Harpy's pretty neat too. I just, I'm already struggling for time to make and run a game. Now you want me to learn how to do another VTT? So, we'll see. We'll see. Thought you were getting exploited. No. No, she's doing real good so far. Like, have you considered Excalibur? I have run a game in Excalibur and PowerPoint, and honestly, it works great. It works really great. I just like having the dice and the virtual tabletops for the stream to see. If it's just us playing, yeah, it's whatever. But no exploiting. The editor's been real good. She asked me if that was enough time, and I was like, what do you think is enough for a normal person, a normal writer? And she's like, well, probably 5 weeks. I was like, well, let's shoot for that, and then if I don't make it, I don't make it. So, we'll see. See if I can make it. See how sweaty it gets. Set up a dice cam, yeah. Do it. There's probably some in the chat. We'll play with you. They'll probably want you to get on Discord, though. And I know how you feel about Discord. What I should run a game in? Didn't want the butt to be Didn't want the VTT to be a stumbling block. Yeah, I've got it. Man, people really don't care. I mean, unless you're trying to stream, but like, if you're just meeting up, like I said, we've played in Excalibur on PowerPoint. It's fine. It's whatever. You just play in Discord, honestly. Just send pictures that way, but whatever you're comfortable in, man. Google Slides RPG, that is also fun. We've done that before. Die Hard Foundry fan? I like it, but version 13 was bad. It was real bad. That reeked of, we've gotten too big for our britches, and we're just looking for things to do now. It's got its pros and cons for sure. Ooh, he's got a slick out gun set up. Alright. I guess that's what we'll be on Friday. Anyway, I'm going. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat. So I will see y'all Thursday, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. Same place, same time. Talking about Kesher Night. Hopefully. Where's my disconnect button? There it is. All right. Bye, everybody.